Good afternoon, this is David Wendell with BushcraftOnFire, and we're pleased to be with you for another video. You know, I've been rethinking my bug out bag. I did a video last summer, but since then I thought, 40-45 pounds is just too much to carry for an extended period of time. When I say bug out bag, I mean something that's going to get you out of Dodge pretty permanently. So what I've done is I've reconsidered what I'm going to put into my bug out bag, things that are only permanent. I don't want anything temporary in here, anything that can't last a long time, something that's going to be too redundant is going to be ineffective. So I've weighed this down and I've got a lot out of it. Now this pack is a 3-day advanced combat pack, and it's from Fox Outdoor Products. It's an incredible pack, and so I've decided that I'm going to pack my bug out bag into this pack. And I want to show you some things about this pack as well as about the bug out bag as we go through this video. So let me go ahead and start by showing you a little bit about this pack, because we're going to get into this. But this pack is made out of heavy duty tactical polyester, kind of a Cador material. It's got all heavy duty zippers on the pack, and it has a main compartment with a front compartment, also has 2 side compartments, and it's got a front base compartment. In addition to that, on the back, which I'll show you in a few minutes, there's a hydration department, and I don't use that for hydration bladders. I don't like them. So what I'm going to do is use that to carry an extra tarp and some mosquito netting. Weighs nothing, and it helps pad my back. Now, as you can see, there's MOLLE attachments all over this pack, and I've attached a small pack here. This will be my emergency get out of Dodge food. Probably a couple of power bars, a pound or 2 of bannock, and just some things to get me on the road. It will not be permanent food because you can't obviously carry enough food. So I've got everything in here, and we're going to go through it. I've got shelter, I've got fire, I've got water, and I've got food as well as utilities that are necessity to keep myself going out there for an extended or indefinite period of time. So let's go ahead and look at this pack. Now, as I told you, I wanted to whittle this down. I have everything in this pack right now except for an extra pair of pants. The total weight of this pack at this moment is 29.5 pounds. So I'm well in under 40 pounds. I've cut about 25% of the weight off. But I still believe I have everything that I need in order to survive out there indefinitely. So let's take a look at this. First thing I've done is I've attached an axe on here, and you guys have seen this axe before. Okay, just a Collins. It's a half axe. I have a file and a magnet on here just to hold it in place. Okay, and so I carry that for heavy duty chopping if I have to chop out in the bush. And of course, I believe that's a necessity. You can get along without it. You could just carry a saw with you and that will be fine. But let's start in the back end. Now, this pack has some heavy-duty carry straps. Everything is attached with X and box stitching on it, so it's very strong. These attachment clips that you can attach little small carabiners or small clips with, say, your compass or your knife on it. These are made out of a metal, not a plastic, so these rings aren't going to break off too easily. It's got a very heavy-duty chest strap that goes across your chest. And it also has a lumbar pad. This is kind of nice. It's got a lumbar pad, and underneath this lumbar pad are your hip straps. And those hip straps are removable if you don't like those. You can just pull this lumbar pad up, pull those hip straps out of there. I kind of like them. With this setup the way it is, it holds the pack up off of my back so that it sits forward on me and actually feels like it weighs less. But the first strap in here, or first compartment in here I should say, is this hydration bladder. Now if you use this for a hydration bladder, okay, you can put your hydration pack in here, and right out the top comes your hydration hose so you can drink it while you're on the trail. But as I said, I don't like these for that purpose. So what I've done, I've just put a real space blanket as well as mosquito netting in there, and I feel those things are a necessity on a long-term trip. One of the things I want to show you, this has padding on here but the padding is breathable, so it doesn't put a lot of moisture on my back. And again, that lumbar pad and these removable kidney pads really help to make this comfortable on my back. So that's the first place that I've got something hidden in this pack. Let me flip it over. So here I've got some shelter. Now inside I'll show you a little more shelter, but I've got a place underneath where I can attach my sleeping bag. Again, this is part of my shelter. This is a 20-degree sleeping bag, and with this space blanket inside, I figure that sleeping bag is probably good down to about 10, maybe 0 degrees. With clothes on, I could get lower than that. You can see there's 2 heavy-duty straps down here that will hold this, some mollies, and that holds my sleeping bag in place with no problems at all. Again, I attach this bag on top with my mollies, and in here right now I just have a pair of vice grip locking pliers. I've decided no longer to carry a tool man with me everywhere. Rather, I carry pliers. Everything else is redundant on the tool man, and this is a better set of pliers than I could get on most tool man. So I carry that generally on my belt. Of course, also on my belt is some other gear that I would take out, and y'all have seen these things before, so I'm not going to go through them again. But I've got my carabiner. By the way, somebody noticed, Stu, a good friend of mine, noticed, Strake, that I was missing my whistle. I had given it to my little girl while we were in Canada, so I retained that, got that back, and put back on my carabiner clip. Also, my SAK Hunter and my Anaconda. And that's pretty much all the steel that I'm taking with me on a trip, except for my Mora. I've also got a compass that I'll be carrying, and the Mora and the compass generally would stay around my neck. But if I needed to, I could slide those right into this map pouch on this kit. Kind of a nice little handy thing. And right now in that map pouch I've got part of my food kit, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. This is a Peterson's Guide to Wild Edibles. Remember, I told you that you can't pack all the food that you need out there. So you're probably going to want a fishing kit, something to fish with, or some other way to obtain game out in the bush. I personally like the wild plants, so I'm going to take that as part of my food kit. But this map bag here, I could stick these things in. I could put my compass in here, a map of the area. It gives me a lot of versatility. Now on the top, and this is the outside pouch. Let's see if I can flip this around for you. You can see there's a lot of room in here. Okay, right now in this bag, I have my basic tools. Those of you that know me know that I like to pack everything into kits inside the kit. And keeping those containers helps me to keep everything segregated. This is my fire kit inside of here, and you all have seen this before. I have a flint and steel. I have some paracord. I have a small tin that, some char cloth. I have a small tin that I can make more char with. So that's part of my fire kit. I also have my strike force. I've got a small shovel. This is a very lightweight shovel. I think this cost me a couple dollars, but it's made out of steel, and that shovel will probably last me a long time. At least it will give me something to dig with besides my knife or a digging stick, and it virtually weighs nothing. So that's going with. I also have in here a repair kit. In this repair kit is some duct tape. There's some rubber bands on the outside, some Ranger bands. There's also in this repair kit a couple of sewing needles. There is some small nails and some larger nails, and basically just for general repairs. And the last thing inside of my utility bag is my Smith's sharpener. Okay, that will be my field sharpener on an extended trip. I've stuck some extra cordage in a couple different places here. I've got some blanket pins. If I find some blankets or rags out there, I can make myself a blanket, capote, or something that will help me to keep going. And another utility item, of course, is my Corona saw, my folding saw. So this is basically my utility pouch. In here I have a shemagh. just to keep my head and neck warm. And this has plenty of pockets to throw all sorts of other gear. You can see down in here, got some deodorant. I don't know why that's in there. That's still from the trip from Canada. That wouldn't actually be going on a survival trip with me. Alright, so I've also got in here for food my spork. That would go with the food group. And some Carmex, which lip balm. Those of you that know me know I like my lip balm. Now we get to the main compartment, and again, this bag is a little bigger than a lot of bags that I've been carrying. However, I've packed it a lot lighter, so there's extra room in this bag. This is all the spare clothes I would be taking, but I've put them in a compression sack. In here is a fleece shirt. It's a heavy fleece shirt. There are 2 extra pairs of socks. There's extra underwear. There's 2 extra shirts and a pair of long johns. So in a bag that size, that's pretty much, except as I said, I'd throw a pair of pants in here, an extra pair of pants. That would give me all the clothing that I needed for an extended trip. Now remember this, when you're out there, you're thinking about a bug out bag, you're going to have to scavenge, you're going to have to pick up things on the road. There's no way you could possibly carry everything with you that you're going to need for that kind of a trip. So when you think clothes, think what you're going to need for at least 3 seasons, and then figure out how you're going to get around that. Because again, I could pack out another 30 pounds in here of just clothing and still probably not be comfortable. But you got to get along with what you have. And that's one reason for this repair kit. You know, I've got some sewing stuff in this repair kit, those needles. I can use paracord, the inside of the paracord. I'm calling it parathread now. And I can re-sew my clothes, do darning or stitching or whatever I need to do on there to keep my clothes in good repair. And they should last me at least 2 to 3 years at that point. Next thing I pack is a small personal kit. This personal kit doesn't have a few items in it that I normally carry in it, but they're negligible weight. A mosquito head net. I've got a mask, so if I ran into any kind of problem where there's a lot of smoke or viruses in the air, I could wear this mask over my face. I've got some toothpaste, toothbrush, some lip balm, a little bit of hand sanitizer, a hairbrush, some dental floss. And again, most of these items are not disposable. A couple of them, of course, will wear out over time, i.e. the toothpaste is going to run out, and things are going to just not last that long, but for the most part, that's what I'm going to carry as a personal kit. Okay, as far as, let's go back to shelter for a minute. I've got my Gear Pod shelter. This is a 4x8. I showed you this on another video. The reason I included this was to have a secondary shelter. I could use this to lay on. I could use it on the front of my tarp. I could use it to get fires started real quick. You know, have a dry area underneath to start fires without having to set up a larger tarp. But I also am carrying my Trek Light hammock as my main sleeping out, and I'm carrying my large tarp that you guys have seen many times. This is a 9 or 10 by 7 or 8 foot tarp, and a really good tarp by Schwack Shack, and I'm carrying that with me as well. And rounding out the kit, so I've got shelter, food, my books, and my spork. I've got utilities. Rounding out the kit, I'm carrying my GSI cup, as well as my Geo Designs bottle, and that will give me all the cooking. You know, in my other kit, I had a complete cookware kit. Now I may throw a coffee can into this as well, because it will fit right around that GSI cup, and that would be fine. But I got rid of the frying pans. I got rid of all those. You're not going to use them out there probably. If you need to use them, you can do it in a cup pretty easily with a little bit of water. You can braise the food instead of frying it. So there's a lot of different ways to do things that you don't have to carry that extra weight. Now, some more pouches here. Got a little more gear. This is just quick necessity items. I have a poncho, which could double as another tarp. I have a small fleece cap, as well as a bandana. I've got a flashlight and some extra batteries for that flashlight. This flashlight will last, I think it's 100 hours on a set of batteries. So while that becomes a disposable item after a while, unless I can find batteries, the bulb will never burn out. It's a photon bulb, so the bulb will never burn out as an LED. But if I can't find batteries, that becomes cast off because it won't be useful after I wear out the batteries. I've got about 400 hours worth of battery pack with me, so that'll last a good long time. I don't generally stay up a lot at dark in the bush. The other thing that I'm carrying here, and again we get back to utilitarian, is some paracord. Now I'm taking more paracord than I took last time. I've got about 200 or 250 foot of paracord, and one of the reasons I decided to carry extra paracord is because I use it all the time in the bush. I use it for putting up shelters, I use it for tying things together, I use it for making all sorts of different objects and things out in the woods that I need to get along with, and it's a lot easier to use paracord. It doesn't weigh virtually anything, and most all of it's packed into this side pouch, so it's not giving me a lot of problem as far as weight. This other side pouch has a little more dental floss, a little more duct tape, and my first aid kit. And my first aid kit we've gone through before, so I'm not going to go through that again. Basically some different bandages, some butterflies, some triple antibiotic ointment. I think there's some more lip balm in there, and a few other things that make it available in the woods to do what I need to do to take care of myself. One of the nice things about this little kit has a mirror on here, and I don't know if you can see that all right on the video, but that mirror will actually aid me greatly in the bush, and if you don't pack a mirror, I suggest you do. One of the reasons is, if you're out there and you get something in your eye, or you need to see for some reason an area that's hard to see on your body, your back, the back of your leg, whatever, a mirror will greatly help you get the ticks off, chiggers, etc., etc. So that's a good idea again. So here's my revamped bag. Inside here, I didn't show you this, there are also a few mesh compartments here. These mesh compartments, I just have a few odds and ends, some nitrile gloves, a bandana, which I carry another one in my pocket. Down in this one is a heavier duty pair of gloves. Nitrile gloves are great for most work. This is a pair of leather gloves for heavy work. And those nylon pockets make it real easy. So this bag is a great bag, folks. Fox Products has done a great job with this. It gives me all the room that I need for my complete bug out. And it does it in kind of sections, compartments, to where I can keep my kits nested together the way I like to keep them nested. I can carry this bag by either side. It has side straps on both sides, or by the top. There are a couple other compartments up here, as I said, that I can get into. There's another space up top here where I can pull through my my water bladder if I'm carrying a water bladder in there. But a well-constructed bag, and it certainly is enough to carry all the gear that I'm carrying out there in the bush. Alright, so there you have it, your complete bug out bag. And this is what I'm going to be carrying if I have to leave Dodge. And again, I plan on carrying it at this moment in this bag, the 3-day Advanced Combat Pouch, a bag by Fox Outdoor Products, a great bag, and definitely will do the job for what I need here. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all your support, all of your comments that you leave. Hope that you have a great day. Join us again on another video and continue to get out into the bush and to practice your skills.